Breaking bad habits. Let's talk about it today in Car Chats with Robert. Hi guys, this is Robert Rivera with the Rivera Trading Group in association with Turn Trading Academy. And today I want to talk to you about breaking bad habits. I have gotten into some bad habits as of late. Basically, my discipline has broken down, and I'm not quite sure why, but I think that I gotten lazy with my discipline, with my rules. That's the bottom line, I think. And so I'm using myself as an example for you guys. Last week I had a bad loss. Yesterday I had some losses. I ended up in the positive. But I incurred some losses that were unnecessary, and to me, it bothers me. It is bothering me that I'm displaying undiscipline in areas that I thought I had under control. So I'm addressing these today so that perhaps it can help you, and it helps me as I'm talking to you. Number one, about breaking bad habits: identify the problem. Here's a problem that I have identified. I'm anticipating momentum instead of observing it. I am watching the price action, the movement of the price, and instead of waiting for it to do what I've always done before, which is wait for the break or the retest, I'm anticipating it bouncing off of a trend line or breaking the trend line, or hold on a second. Something fell in my eye and was bothering me. I was winking, and so I decided to go ahead and stop the video. Instead of letting the momentum show itself, I've been anticipating it. And I guess because I was getting away with it before and I was making money, I developed a bad habit of thinking that I could do that consistently, when the truth of the matter is that the setup that I send every night, it works out consistently if I just wait for the breakout or the retest. The momentum is going to show itself. If I just let it play out, the momentum is going to show itself. So identifying the problem. Number two, creating a rule to address it. In my case, I'm going back to waiting for the London momentum instead of pre-London. You see, I've been catching the pre-London. I've been talking about the pre-London for a while now because I was catching it. Like for a month I was catching it, and then it hurt me. The London provides and by the way, the pre-London was always a small move. I profited from it, but it was always a small move. The London move is usually the bigger move, and it provides a bit easier way to catching pips. In fact, more pips if you want to catch them. So I've created back to the rule of waiting for London and waiting for zones to break or retest. Number three, enforcing it. No loopholes, no exceptions. When you are establishing a new habit, do not give yourself any exceptions. Do not give yourself, and let me lower the AC because this is kind of loud. Do not give yourself any outs for while you are building the habits. You can tweak it later, but first build the habit. You have to build a good habit first, and then you can adjust it. First the habit, and then the adjustment. No loopholes, no exceptions. Number four, giving it time to develop. Now, it is a fallacy, by the way. Some studies show that you can create a new habit in as little as 21 days. But that's not usually the case, to be honest. Most habits can be created between 30 and 90 days. But the greater majority of the time, it can take a whole year. In some cases, it can take a whole year for you to develop a new habit. The beautiful thing about the habit is that once you have developed it, it's with you. And so in my case, I developed a bad habit. Like in 30 days, I developed a bad habit of anticipating the momentum instead of observing it. And I preach this, I teach it, right? We don't predict which way the market is going to go. We watch it, and as it goes, then we go with it, okay? So giving it time to develop, about 30 to 90 days. That's going to be me for the next 30 to 90 days. I'm going to be very stern, very strict with my rules, and this one specifically, which, again, has been hurting me. And then number five, remain vigilant. Here's the thing with bad habits. They tend to come back, okay? There's a reason why they are there. There could be psychological triggers that are in place. Personal things that may be happening to you. In my case, perhaps that loss on Thursday really shook my confidence, you know? And so here I am finding myself having to go back to my rules that I thought were very well established. Again, you got to remain vigilant. When it comes to discipline, you got to remain vigilant. Just a little bit of letting loose and you're going to get hurt. Like the Bible says, just a little bit of leaven leavens the whole loaf. In other words, you can't let a little bit of sin get in. It'll mess up your whole life. You can't let a little bit of undiscipline come into your trading. It will mess up your whole trading account. We don't want to do that. Let's go into what happened last night, and then I'll talk about it a little more in that video.
So first of all, it's a no trade day anyway because there was a massive amount of news. But I can catch the news usually, and it's not a problem if I wait for the momentum to show its head. And so, had I waited, I would have been able to catch this. This is the setup as I had it last night. I found resistance, and I was watching the price action above the 50 moving average, and I'm anticipating either a breakdown below the 50 or a break of the trend line to the upside, which again in confluence with the 50 and the trend line and the zone should give me good momentum to the upside. The challenge that I had was that instead of allowing that to work out, I took the sell from the top, and I won some, and I lost another one, and it put me in a bad position, and then I had to reassess and wait again for the move to happen, for the real move to happen. And this is the real move. This is the real move as it occurred, okay? It broke down to the bottom, okay? It broke down to the bottom as anticipated, or I should say this way, as I observed it break down to the bottom, but then it stopped on a dime, okay? I had one there on that sell, but I had entered another position, and I lost on that one, basically wiping out my profits. And then I waited for the momentum, and in fact, it broke the 50 moving average, it broke the trend line, but I didn't take either one of those. I was waiting for the bigger move, which is the zone break. And so I took the zone break. And at the zone break, I caught it pretty good, and I got me enough pips for me to create a win for the day and redeem the day. But the lack of discipline is what is troubling me. Okay, it's not the results. You see, and again, I want to, and by the way, that went on for 98 pips, okay? 98 pips. That was beautiful. It's not whether you win or you lose. It's whether you follow your rules. And that's where I'm at. I was winning a lot. But I didn't realize that I was creating bad habits along the way. And now those bad habits have come to haunt me, you know? And so I got to go back to discipline. And so in this case, last night I won, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick. There it is, you know. I was losing, then I won. I got my money back. I ended up with almost $300. Great. Yoo-hoo, fantastic. But I've created bad habits. You know, I don't like it. Even if I won, I don't like the fact that my discipline has broken down. So I'm going back to discipline. I'm going back to what I just spoke about. I'm going to stick with it, and I'm basically using myself as an example of how to redeem yourself from bad decisions and how to break those bad habits. We'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back. I hope you caught what I said there. I won last night, but I don't like the fact that I am entering trades and losing trades that I don't need to be in. And it took me a minute to identify what is going on. Why am I doing this? And I'm not quite sure, except to look back at my record and realize I was taking a lot of pre-London moves. Now there are exceptions. There are some pre-London moves that move with momentum, but I was anticipating the momentum rather than observing the momentum. And so I've identified the problem. You know, I'm basically, by anticipating the momentum, I am in essence predicting which way the market is going to go. And that is just not a good thing. Even if my analysis is pretty good, I am breaking my own rules, you know, which is observe the market, Robert. Observe the market and follow it. Whatever the market is doing, that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow it. So how do we how do we break bad habits? I've said 5 things here, and I'm going to list them one more time before I close out. Okay, identify the problem. Number 2, create a rule to address it. Number 3, enforce it. And that one's a very important one. No loopholes, no exceptions. When you are building a new habit or breaking a bad one, no exceptions. I know that there are some exceptions in life, but when you are creating a new habit, no exceptions. You got to first create the new habit and then tweak it if you have to. Okay, number 4, giving it time to develop. You know, 30 to 90 days is gonna take time. Okay, and you know this to be a fact, by the way, creating a new habit. Okay, because some of you do crash diets. Some of you go to the gym and get quick results. But if you haven't established the habit, you go back to the bad habits when with time, because you haven't given it enough time. So 30 to 90 days and perhaps even a year of doing the same thing over and over. And then number 5, remain vigilant. There's a reason why these bad habits creep their heads. Something is going on psychologically. Something is going on in your mindset. Something is going on perhaps in your personal life. Something is going on in your account. Something is going on. Whatever it is. You know something is happening because you can observe it in your account. You can observe it in your results. You can observe it in what you are doing. As I've said in some of my psychology videos, you know what you are thinking by what you are doing, not what you think you're thinking. Okay, it's not what you think your thoughts may be thinking. It's what you are doing. What you are doing tells you what you're really thinking. Okay, I hope you found this informative and helpful. Again, if you like the content that you're receiving, please like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, this is Robert Rivera with the Rivera Trading Group in association with Trend Trading Academy. God bless you.